Why does a famous artist have his work shown across the world, but not his hometown of Middlesbrough?
When are you going to bring this to the north? And I would love to, and one day I will. I know I will. Hook or by crook.
Here in York, they celebrate their most famous artist, William Etty. He beat off Constable, you know, in a race to be recognised by the Royal Academy. But it seems we're a bit more reluctant to mark up-and-coming 21st century artists. Take, for instance, Teesside's Mackenzie Thorpe. You'll see his work everywhere, it seems, except on home turf. A borough lad with his own show in one of the most famous streets in the art world. Mackenzie Thorpe could rake in almost £250,000 if he sells the lot.
Hi! Very nice to see you. We're at a friend's exhibition up the road. That's an amazing piece, isn't it?
Thank you.
Thanks. How's life? Good?
Everything's great. I stood outside that window in 1979 with my art teacher. And he said, this is your job. You're leaving Middlesbrough. Your job is to do your work properly to get in here.
His work is shown in New York, Sydney, Japan, here in London. But when it comes to showing it in Middlesbrough, has he been left out in the cold?
This is my world. There's crooked windows, crooked doors, no doorknobs on, no letterbox, you can't get in touch. There's no warmth in the house because the fire's not on. No curtains in the houses, no colour in the houses. The only colour in the street is the kid's jumper, knitted for him by his grandma. The kid is totally locked outside, sat there. The kid has no eyes, no mouth, can't see, can't speak, just got to sit there because he doesn't know what to do. And I care for the kid, but I am the kid. And the kid's worked out all right. Last time I came in the street, this was all a building site. And I remember I was drunk. I come out the rock garden or something like that, and I fell over in the sand. I tried to like retouch to the place where I was born, because I was born around here somewhere. This was 66 St. Paul's Road. And in the house, there was Grandma, Grandad, Uncle John, Uncle Chris, Uncle Michael, Uncle Lawrence, Auntie Kath, Auntie Ellen, my mum and dad, and I was born on a couch by the fire. I remember being in the bedroom and listening to the bread wagon coming up, and the door opens like that. Oh, morning, George, how are you doing? I remember that now. I was about 9 years old. To me, it was poetry. To me, it was a great painting. The only thing I was ever good at and ever did was draw. But how can you admit it in the society that I was growing up in, that I'm going to be an artist? It was like, that's talking daft.
Mackenzie Thorpe resented Middlesbrough before he learnt to love it. He worked in the shipyards, but it wasn't him. He just liked to draw and chanced his arm to scrape a place in the local art college. He hasn't been back for 30 years.
It was always like this, like smell and dirt and oil and grease. It felt like a place, you know what I mean? It felt like the oasis. I'm feeling loads and loads of emotions. I came when I was 21. I'm dyslexic. I never had one qualification. I left school at 15 and I worked in the shipyards. But every day I drew and drew and drew and drew and drew. Even though the rest of my friends called me a weirdo, the nuns at school said if you die now, God won't even let you into heaven. Because all you do is draw pictures. You'll never get a job, you'll never get married, you'll never have kids. It's over. And I was 9 years old.
He's now 51, married, 2 kids, famous artist, and busy earning his corn, holed up in his Brighton studio.
That's my strong place. It's where I do battle with my thoughts and my demons and whatever. And it's kind of like, bring it on.
Everything Mackenzie draws is about his Middlesbrough. Hopes, dreams, struggles, triumphs, love, pain.
I believe, always have believed, that no matter what your job is, window cleaner, plumber, doesn't matter. If you do your job right, the money will take care of itself. But this thing on the top of my head, I know it won't be less than £10,000 now.
Nice work if you can get it, but can you make a good living and have respect from the art world?
They're not mutually exclusive. What maybe excludes Mackenzie a little bit is he is very, very popular, and he is popular with the man on the street.
Yes, and some other folk too.
There's William Hegg, Anthea Turner, Nasser Hussain. Oh God, I've forgotten his name. The guitar player from Bill Wyman from the Rolling Stones, Mark Schwarzer, the footballer.
All of that and a lucrative one-man show about to open in London, organised entirely by him and Susan. But there's one big achievement Mackenzie would still like to tick off the list.
It used to hurt me that I don't show my work in this town. But people come to us and they say, like, why isn't Mackenzie Thorpe having a show in Middlesbrough? I remember I did a small show here once in a little gallery years and years and years ago, and I couldn't get in. It was so packed I had to stand on a table to talk to people.
But just like the boy that didn't get a ticket, when it comes to the North East art scene, has Mackenzie been left out again? January 2007, MIMA, the Middlesbrough Institute of Modern Art, opens. It's proud to showcase local artists. So, the ideal venue for Mackenzie Thorpe to share his work with the very people who made it?
Mackenzie's work does relate to these people, and it does speak to them. A lot of people who would never go to MIMA would go to see Mackenzie's work. He should be acknowledged by the art establishments in the town.
And have MIMA ever been in touch?
No, they haven't, no.
It would be inappropriate for a public gallery like MIMA to have an agenda against any artist, but at the same time it would be inappropriate for us to champion any individual artist. He's an artist that obviously my curatorial colleagues and I are aware of, but at this moment in time we haven't considered him for the programme one way or another.
Mackenzie sells Middlesbrough to the world, but his pictures don't hang in his hometown. In 2006 he met Middlesbrough Council to offer to put on a public art display. It took them 16 months to write back, saying they were interested. Coincidentally, just after we told the council about this programme. Do they want him or not?
To me, it's always been a busy living place. It was like loads of boats passing on here all day long, all night long, and thousands of people, and I draw it that way.
Mackenzie Thorpe's Middlesbrough now only exists in his head. Maybe that's part of the problem.
People involved in the arts or the culture of the town said they're fed up with that image. Middlesbrough needs to grow and be a new image. Every woman in the street was your mum, and every bloke's your dad. So any stranger can hit you on the head, you shouldn't be doing that. And so I draw characters like you with a cap on because I believe the values that they instilled in me were from them people. And them people don't exist anymore in my life.
But they do in his memory. So he's come full circle. 29 years ago, Mackenzie stood outside this window, nose against the glass.
So to be this side of the fence, it's an honour, it's fantastic. It's a dream come true kind of thing. Yeah, it's huge.
And in the poshest of places, Mayfair, a little corner of Teesside, thanks to some notable exiles.
Walking in here this evening in the heart of London, and the contemporary heart of London, and seeing a picture titled Tees Man and the Transport of Bridge is just fantastic for me.
Well, I've seen that Mackenzie is tremendously proud of where he's come from. I've also seen that he, really wants to work with the area, and that's wonderful news because really we desperately need it.
There was people, expats if you like, here yesterday. When are you going to bring this to the north? And I would love to, and one day I will. I know I will. Hook or by crook, and to have all the people that is in this work come walking down the street to see my work would be like, I'd kiss the feet. I'd be honoured, absolutely honoured.